Hi, it's Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go get that claimed, smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode. Hi, it's your Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, in this episode, I think I'm going to do a little training today. What I want to really talk to you guys about is how to run a great review. It's been fascinating. I remember when I was doing a lot of corporate training about 10, 15 years ago, various broker-dealers would bring me in to teach advisors. And one day, just out of curiosity, I asked a question. I said, write down how you guys do a client review. There's like 15, 20 people in the room. And so just write it down and let's just go around the room real quick, and I just want to see what's going on. And it was very shocking to me that everybody was literally all over the place, from doing absolute deep dives into every investment somebody has to basically like getting on the whiteboard and drawing some stuff and then everything in between. And what I realized was that, not that I think there should be an industry standard, but I do believe there are some common best practices that all advisors have to deploy inside of their client review syntax in order to not only provide the client the best possible process and outcome, but to make sure that we're hitting on things as fiduciaries inside of those client collaborative partnerships. So what I did is I went to, I think it was like 5 or 6 of my very long-term clients who I think do just a great job. And what I did is I interviewed them. And then what I did is I took common best practices and then I synthesized them into a protocol. So, this would be like an hour or plus masterclass, which you can get, by the way, inside of Magellan Network for free. I want to hit you with some highlights today. All right. So I'm going to work on here's the premise of the syntax. Clients coming in for review. Now, when I say coming in, let me be very clear, especially in this day and age. The word coming in is just a term. This can be done in the office. It can be done over Zoom. It can be done over the phone. It can be done in a restaurant. It really doesn't matter, right? From that perspective, okay? So client's going to come in. And obviously, you're going to do the 5 minutes or so, get them a cup of coffee, a tea, a soft drink, water, whatever they want. You're going to ask them how their world is, how's your trip, whatever. So in other words, we're through that process, okay? So they're warmed up, we've got rapport, we're in sync, stuff like that. So now we're going to get to what we like to call the 7 steps to a great review. So step number 1 is going to be asking them about their health. So I'm curious, since our last review, have there been any changes to your health status? You and your spouse, you, Tom and Mary, whatever. Now, Why do we ask that question? Because a lot of advisors say, man, Joe, we're not doctors. Are we inviting some HIPAA law or something like that? What I found in talking to my very successful clients is, look, health and wealth, right? If there's a change in your client's health, it's going to affect their values, their goals, their timelines, a lot of things. So, you need to know what's going on. And by the way, if they ask, hey, I'm curious, why do you want to know that? I've been a client for 10 years. You've never asked that question. Say, look, what I've discovered is that if there's a change in health, there may be a change of goals. There may be a change in values. There may be a change of what you want to do. We might want to move the bucket list up. There might be something we need to plan for. So I just need to ask, right? And hopefully, right, there's no change. Everything's good. But you're going to find from time to time, somebody's battling something, right? Wouldn't you rather know that early in the conversation versus going through the whole review and then, hey, by the way, and they tell you something and like, well, all that now is basically out the window, all the prep is out the window, and away we go. So always ask about their health. Assuming that's fine, we go on to the next thing. So, hey, everything's good. I'm happy you guys look great, so on and so forth. Hey, I'm curious, do you have any new financial or life goals since our last review? So do you have any new financial goals or life goals or new bucket list things, right? Stuff like that. Why? Is there something now they want to move towards? So maybe they have a financial goal. Maybe they want to help one of their grandchildren for college, right? Maybe they want to do something philanthropic from their situation. Maybe they want to go now take a trip. Maybe they want to go budget for a cruise around the world, right? You want to ask proactively because you want to know if there's any new goals that we need to factor into any changes in the financial plan or how we're working with them. Okay, so what does this really boil down to? Do not make assumptions. Assumptions will kill the value you bring to a relationship, and don't work under the major assumption that a client will tell you things just because you've had them as a client for 10, 15, 20 years. Run the protocol that I'm teaching you today. Do not deviate from it. Third question, or third part, any new financial issues, concerns, anything keeping you up at night? Right? Why is this important? Because it will mess with their mindset, and you need to know what's messing with their mindset. So if they're freaked out about inflation, you need to know that, right? If they're concerned over the value of the dollar, you need to know that, right? If they're watching CNBC all day, I definitely want to know that, right? You want to know, are there any issues, concerns, stuff like that? Because if it's keeping them up at night, that's one of our, if you ask me, one of the core deliverables that somebody hires someone like you, an advisor. Why does somebody hire you? Why not just do it yourself? Right? Why not save the money? Because they want somebody to tell them everything's going to be okay. They want somebody to say, we're on track. They want somebody to say, hey, we need to make this pivot to stay on track, right? They want that collaborative partnership. If they want to go alone, trust me, they would go it alone. There's plenty of options to do that. Hi, Coach Joe Lucas here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. So one of the things we have to be very clear on, if there's something keeping you up at night, one of our primary deliverables is certainty, which is not a guarantee. A lot of people say, oh man, you can't create certainty. It's like guarantee. No, it's not. Financial planning is an exercise in certainty. Monte Carlo simulations are exercise in certainty, right? Whether you're above the line, on the line, below the line, what does Fidelity do? Have the little green line. Remember, you're on green track, right? That's a version of certainty. So we create certainty, okay? Now, assuming all that checks out, now the next question is, well, what happens if there is a certain, Joe, what happens if there is a concern? What happens if there is something? Then you go into that. Do not just ignore it. Does that mean you got to then pivot off of what you're doing for the review? Yes. The review is there to provide client maximum value, not for you to sit there and regurgitate information. Most of you bore your clients with your reviews. They can go online and read what you're going to tell them, right? So if it's about that, this is why you're not having the impact that you need to have. And they look at you like a service, not as a trusted advisor, collaborative partner. Next, so all that works out. Now we're going to get into what I call it the technical information. So, review their financial plan, reviewing their investments. Now, critical thing, And we're not going to spend a lot of time because it's in the master class, but there are 3 distinct information styles. There are the big picture style, the detail style, and the blended style, okay? Big picture people love summaries, pie charts, graphs, colors. Throw your financial planning software on the board or on the screen, and they love that. Do not do deep dives, it bores them. Blended is basically they want summary and they want a little detail. The detail people want to go all the way in. Now, if you're a detailed advisor, because I've seen this, you prepare your reviews to go over all the details, right? All their holdings, if you're using third-party managers, what the managers are holding, all that stuff. And the client will sit there again in the office, online, and they'll nod their head like this. They could care less what you're saying. They're just there because they think they need to be there. Okay, you're not having any impact. In fact, the next day, if you were to call them up and say, "Hey, can you repeat to me what we talked about when we gave you," like in one ear and out the other ear. So make sure you understand your client's information style and match that style. It shocks me that I can go to a restaurant, and not even a good one, and I can order a burger, and they're going to order a steak. Well, how do you want it done, Mr. Lucas? How do you want it done, Joe? I can get that, but if I'm paying an advisor $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a year, I can't get the information the way I want it. That makes no sense. Okay. So, and what you'll find running this protocol is that some of you are way too deep into the technical review and you're missing all the stuff around it, basically, right? So we get through that. And again, depending on style, if they're big picture, that may be 5-10, you may do an overview 5-10 minutes, everything's good, right? Done. If it's a little bit more blended, you may spend a little bit more time there. If they're detailed, obviously you can spend a lot more time there. But know who you're in front of. Next, I call it new business or recommendation. So let's say, for example, you go through the technical piece and there are some recommendations. Hey, I want to change this. Assuming you don't have discretion. Hey, I want to change this. Or, hey, we made these changes because, right? Or maybe there's some open items. Maybe they need to do an estate planning project and it's been on the board. Well, this is the opportunity to say, hey, remember 6 months ago we were together and we had talked about getting your wills updated, creating a trust, stuff like that. We've been procrastinating on now for about 6 months. Can we get going on that, right? This is your job as an advisor. You're also their accountability partner. It is one of your core deliverables to do. You can't force them, obviously. You're not going to hold them at gunpoint, obviously. But you're going to do everything in your damn power to make sure they do what's in their best interest. So this is where if there's new recommendations, hey, based upon our updated analysis, we really think we should go ahead and acquire a long-term care policy to transfer the risk out of your basic portfolio to a third party, right? Or whatever we're going to do. Whatever the recommendations are, that's where you do that. So we get through all that. Now there are 2 other things. We've covered 5. There are 2 more things. Okay, next one, number 6. And this is the one most advisors, it's like the third rail. But hear me out. After we're through all that, we're kind of getting to the end of the time, right? We kind of checked all the boxes. Hey, just real quick, I want to say we are so grateful to have you as a collaborative partner, as a client. We just want to know if there's anything else we can do to add more value in what we're doing, any way we can serve you at a higher level. Can you think of one thing that would improve the work that we do for you, right? And then you literally bite their tongue. You bite your tongue, you see if anything comes out. Now, typically, it's like, no, we're really happy. This is great, wonderful. And you're going to get that probably 80% of the time. 10% of the time, you may get like, hey, we can get this, or we can hear a few more. There may be something we can learn more about, right? 10% of the time, right? And then there 10% of the time, they'll be like fun, right? Well, there is a matter of fact, you can get me a 30% return every year without any risk and do it for free. And they'll laugh and ha ha ha, no big deal, right? They're just kind of pulling your chain a little bit, right? So 80%, it'll be good. Now, why do we want this? A couple reasons. Number one, I want them to hear themselves say they're very happy. And we profess gratitude. So we did our gratitude. They give us gratitude back. It's very symbiotic, very congruent. We're in deep levels of rapport when we do that, okay? They're quote unquote feeling the love. Not because we told them they should, but we asked the question to elicit it, okay? And then the last thing we're going to do before we kind of wrap up and walk into the door or to the front desk or turn them over to our sisters or our team member to get them scheduled for the next review cycle is, again, thank you so much. And by the way, as a service to you inside of our relationship, we are always here as a resource for friends, family, colleagues, and coworkers. If there's anything we can do for anyone that you know, please consider us a resource. That's it. 7 steps, right? Go health, financial new goals, issues, technical delivery, new recommendations, business, right? The relationship, and then referral introductions. If you were to run this simple 7-step process protocol, don't overthink it, pretty simple, make it yours. You will have a very enriched review process. It will take the review process from what a lot of advisors think is a fee justification vehicle. So in other words, well, they're paying me a fee, I gotta do this once a year, I gotta do it twice a year, whatever, to now it's a relationship building, it's value add, and it's also business development. Okay? Very, very, very crucial. So if you want more information, you want to watch the actual masterclass, just go to MagellanNetwork.net. It's part of our free basic membership. It's about 45, 50 minutes long. Give you some more detail on this. And with that, thank you for listening and watching this episode of the Magellan Network Show. And I'll see you all again next week. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game, both personally and professionally.